Okay, this is day 19, and I just thought I would do a little bit of a warm-up here in terms of my lawsuit and where it kind of falls in the DNC history timeline. There's really been kind of four people in charge, if you will, of the finances and IT at DNC. Amy Dacey, of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz with Imran Awan really being head of the IT, then Donna Brazille, and then you have Laura Chambers. Most people don't know who Laura Chambers is, but she's the woman I met with in the lobby of the DNC and went over the lawsuit with her for about 5 or 6 minutes. The thing that I was impressed with Laura Chambers is she read a lot of the lawsuit in front of me and asked me questions and asked, who I was and etc. And they have accepted service, so I imagine I will have to send Laura Chambers interrogatories. So she's going to be answering questions as well as Tom Perez. I haven't named her specifically yet, but we're going to get there in discovery. And so that's why all this timeline stuff becomes very important. This is kind of the Lee Stranahan timeline concept. So if you go back to the organizing of a campaign, there's really kind of three structural parts to this. And I'm going to do both what happened on paper and then what happened in reality. You have this group called Share Blue, and what Share Blue does is it's David Brock's company, I believe, and it's kind of based in Boston. This is where all the data is combined. So you're going to bring, the NGP van data that Dr. Corsi talks about. This is the whole history of a voter over 20 years, their giving patterns and so forth. It really is the gold as far as NGP van is concerned. Then you're going to have Harold Ickes or Ikes adding the iCatalyst, and we talk about that later, this kind of overlay of kind of targeting. And then the whole idea is that you want to mine this data and come up with these target groups. These are the nurses, and these are the teachers, and these are, this group and that group. And then before Hillary goes to these groups, and after they go to the groups, you want to send them these emails, pre and post, and during even to get people to donate. Okay, so the idea of targeting and micro-targeting is a very refined science. Donna Brazille has just said that exact same thing about Robbie Mook. Everybody saw Robbie Mook on the television last night covering the so-called Virginia election. We're going to look at those Springfield returns again. But anyway, the Springfield area, I should say, Fairfax County. But I wanted to, not to get off on that subject, but this is going to become very important because this is the guts of running a campaign, is looking at the data, doing a target email, looking at the data, doing a target email, looking at the data, doing a target email. And you keep refining. This is called optimization, marketing optimization. And you also do what's known as experimentation. You say, well, we have these nurses, but some are cardiac nurses, and then other ones are critical care nurses, and others are end-of-life nurses, for hospice care. So let's, keep segmenting. The idea is keep segmenting to come up with the perfect message that gets you the perfect amount of dollars. Now, that's in Brooklyn, and then Share Blue is up in Boston. I don't know if people remember that. This is kind of like the brain trust of this micro-segmentation up in Boston. But Hillary for America is down in Cabot Square in Brooklyn, all right? Now, the two pieces that people don't know about, but now do with Donna Brazille's recent disclosure is you have a guy named Imran Awan down here, and he was mining this data from the DNC down there on Capitol Street, and he's sending that also to Hillary for America, and I think some of that data is going to wind up at Share Blue, even though the Share Blue folks in Boston may not know about that. And the other thing that they don't know is that Imran's worked on this iConstituent system for 20 years, which is all the schedules and appointments for of the congressman. So for your congressman, for Hillocrats, that's not a problem. But if you're targeting people, this is great information to know. Who are they meeting with? What are their appointments? Send both of those to Hillary for America and then disguise it in some way and send it to Share Blue. And now you're going to have much better targeting. You're not only seeing your people, how to target them better, but you're also targeting Bernie's folks. You're targeting all the other candidates at this point because there's 7 candidates. So you want to field a whole bunch of different candidates, so you get a lot of different experimentation and targeting. You can float different ideas through different candidates and then take them down if there was a dumb idea, they cause a lot of stir. But if they hit on a very successful experiment, then you want to leverage that experiment. The Imran factor here is what changes everything, because as they start going into the primary season, now you have to win elections. This is where the targeting gets nasty. This is where Imran and team, it's going to be a team of people, attack the Bernie-crats. They write these emails with this act blue to act blues, which reroutes the information, reroutes the money to Hillary for America. Now I'll show you how that happens a little bit later on, but it's mainly through these phishing attacks. These are the phishing attacks that Teresa Grafenstein talks about so much. She talks about how sophisticated these hacker groups are, using targeted databases, targeted data mining techniques to write the perfect message, perfect phishing attack. Sound familiar? Yeah, it sounds like Imran Awan. I wonder how long she's known Imran Awan. So that is the part that was hidden until I do the lawsuit. No one knew this part. Everybody knew the Hillary for America, but nobody knew about Imran. Everybody thought that's just what it was. And matter of fact, even Donna Brazille said, she's worried that Robbie Mook is just too much of a robot, just looking at data and not, doing the Bill Clinton thing where you shake somebody's hand, look in their eye, and say what really matters to you. So then we have a period here with the DNC hacks, and we also have the Seth Rich. Now, if you look at it, the Russia thing is really an explanation of how the heck did this DC data get to Hillary for America. The whole Russia is a cover for how did this DC information that shouldn't be at Hillary for America yet, at Hillary for America. The reason why it happens in June is because they've been taking it in June. Once the candidate is declared here as Hillary at the convention, then you don't need any more excuses. But there's a second problem. It's not just the NGP van information that is ending up here on Share Blue and Hillary for America. It's also this iConstituent data that they've combined. They wanted to have as massive a data set and as good a data set as possible, figuring maybe these congressmen are meeting with key donors, which is something that you would do near an election. So they couldn't help themselves and they had to dip into that pie. That's why you need the Seth Rich cover. I do believe that Alpha Jola drove Seth Rich that night. I think everything happened. It's the same thing that they've been doing in D.C., getting rid of people, burning them up in Howard incinerators, Howard University incinerators. They went through the whole motion that night. I don't doubt any of that occurred. I just don't think Seth Rich died. The reason is you have to create a reason for there to be a robbery 2 days before Seth Rich is there and 2 days after with the Alpha Jola shootout. The reason why you do that is, hey, somebody came in and they stole all this data. They stole all these computers, because you have to have a reason you have to have an explanation of how did this iConstituent data get to Hillary for America. So that's the cover here. That's the cover. Most people don't even remember the Capitol shootout in Alpha Jola, but that creates a firewall now. This Russia hack and the Capitol shootout creates this hack. So now anybody at the convention, you can say, well, how did all of our money end up in Hillary's account? Well, there was this Russia hack, and then there was this Capitol shootout. I don't know if you remember. We don't want to talk about it, but there was this. You have something to say at the convention. As soon as the convention comes here, Amy Dacey's done. She becomes, I think, the head of the NFL security. She's done her job, and DWS has done her job, and then Donna Brazille kind of takes over the operations. Now, why Podesta? Why did the Podesta leaks happen? Well, Donna Brazille is much like in the position of Eric Braverman. She's going to have to be signing off on all this stuff, all this shenanigans that she had no part of. So what does she do to firewall herself? The Podesta leaks. Okay, the Podesta leaks, and of course I've named John Podesta, so we're going to have interrogatories with him, and we're going to have him, me questioning him in the depositions, as well as other lawyers probably at that point. So we're going to be able to ask him. We're going to be able to talk to Donna Brazille as well. But this is why you release these emails to say, hey, I'm not the one doing the shenanigans. All the shenanigans are happening over here, not when I was running it. Because you want to firewall, Donna Brazille wants to firewall herself off from all the stuff that happened before, right? The release of the book also, when she releases the fact that the joint funding agreement happened way back here in August of 2015, is yet another way of walling it off. Now, I'll say why the JFA agreement just recently happened. There's no real reason to say that the JFA agreement happened unless you're getting sued. Unless you're sitting there as Laura Chambers reading through the lawsuit saying this guy is pretty specific about what happened with this Act Blue and Act Blues. It sounds like he knows a lot about the internals of what's going on. It sounds like he has a couple of maybe deep blackberries that he's working with. He knows something. The first thing that Laura is going to do when she's named in this lawsuit is she's going to call Donna Brazille and say, hey, what is this all about? I've been doing a great job running the Peace Corps. I've been brought into this thing. I don't want to be holding the bag here. So she calls Donna Brazille. Donna Brazille explains, hey, the Podesta thing, hey, all this shenanigans thing. So she comes out with this thing and firewalls herself off from all the shenanigans, the Act Blue. She might not even have known exactly how they did it. But basically, Imran hires a bunch of people in New York, These are people just coming into the country, and they want their kids to go to the good school up in Jackson Heights. They have a bunch of laptops. They're working in a lot of different New York State departments. They put these Act Blues email on their computers. Imran's kind of the template guy. He's running around giving everybody the templates, giving everybody resumes, and giving everybody these emails, because you don't want the Act Blues emails to come from the DNC. That would be traced right back to the, to Imran. You want them to be on the laptops of the immigrant families that are moving into Jackson Heights area, or Brooklyn, or both. You use a couple of different names, placeholder names, and then they send out these Act Blues through large router systems like the New York Public School System or something like that, which disguises the source of the laptop that's actually sending the emails out. So the laptops is a criminal's best friend. They send all these Act Blues emails out, and that's how that happened. Now the JFA agreement now says, hey, I had no part of this. This stuff with the phishing stuff happened all the way back in August 2015. It didn't just happen here, because phishing occurred all the way into here now for Trump. They're going to start sending emails to Trump people and redirecting Trump donors and so forth. She wants to move that all the way back and say that started all the way back here, and that's your guy right here. Now the Clinton team obviously came and attacked her very strongly, so she recanted a lot of the things she said. She said it was extremely unethical, the JFA agreement, the joint funding agreement. They're still trying to spin this story that somehow it was just for the general election. It wasn't. It goes all the way back to August 2015, August 26, 2015. So there's a little bit of background why I believe things happened the way they did. I still think Braverman plays a big part of this, but we'll get there.